As of 4 o'clock, as of 4 p.m., July 7th, I was officially divorced. So that part of my life is over. I'm divorced legally. I'm a single human being with a goal. I'm looking forward to doing a lot of changes this year. And my legal name is Janice Josephine. And my social security name, everything has changed. Because that's how I identify and that's what I am.
My last time here with a penis. Or an exterior penis, is that how it's put? It will be an internal penis henceforth.
Well, what do you know?
But it still will be a penis.
And back to our moderator.
No,
Lisa.
actually, it won't be. It will be,
What will
the
be?
tissue of the outside.
Oh,
Meanwhile, there's a call. Could it be Washington?
Dr. Biber canceling out.
Don't you? At this point in time, I never felt more alive, healthy or stronger or happy at any time in my life.
This is the morning of Janice's surgery. She is going in 1 hour. Look at her. And she is in good spirits.
I moved from the house with my wife and kids down to outside of Boston from southern New Hampshire and got a little apartment. Got up one Saturday morning, walked down a couple of blocks, got a cup of coffee, and the guy says, "Give me my change." I says, "Thank you, sir." Walked across the street to this big Goodwill store and just bought bags and bags of clothes. And there was a 2 for $1 Goodwill store. And bought like about big 3 bags of women's clothes. Went back to my apartment and just tried a bunch of stuff on with the keeper and whatnot. And then took all my men's clothes and put them in the bags. Walked back to the Dunkin' Donuts. This was no makeup or nothing. Got another cup of coffee, the same guy, and he says, "Thank you, ma'am." And I walked over to the Goodwill store and gave all my men's clothes. From that point on, I just kind of was like this huge liberation. All through high school, I struggled with gender issues going back from early childhood. So my options were leave the country, join the Army, or get drafted. And I tried to talk to my father shortly after I graduated from high school, and he was very blunt about what he thought of me. And,
what did he think of you? What did he say?
where's
Can you
like,
say it on the air?
can I say this on the air?
I'm not sure. Don't,
Where's like
don't
sissy,
use any 4-letter words. But apart from that, let
where's
me
like
know.
sissy and little faggot? You're not welcome in my house anymore. When you're questioning your sexual identity or your gender identity at that age, it's so much driven to you. Well, the military will spit me out. They'll make a man out of me, and it doesn't. I think 100% of the time it doesn't work. You are who you are. They couldn't make a man out of me. I'm the living proof.
All right. I love good, good.
I had an older sister that was just a couple of years older than me. I was always stealing her clothes and just feeling so much more comfortable wearing her clothes and sleeping in nightgowns. I had like the log blocks, so that was a good unisex toy because you can make a dollhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was really, and all my brothers were always playing with guns and cowboys, and I would be in my room with my sister's dress, making a dollhouse. Pretty much for about a decade, I was in and out of VA hospitals, predominantly for post-traumatic stress disorder. Probably one of the worst incidents was when we were driving one of the routes on Highway 9, and there was supposed to have been no other vehicles. As we came around the corner, there was this truck that was on fire, and the driver and the shotgun were both blown out, with the arms and legs blown off. It was either a landmine or an RPG, a hidden rocket. And my driver just quick pulled over, and just as he pulled over, a sniper shot him. And I just felt like I actually fell out of the side of the truck. And I got by the side in the elevator grass, and I was just sitting there crying. I couldn't stop crying. They just got another driver, and I just went on with my day, and it was like nothing happened. And pretty much after that, I mean, I was always doing a little bit of drugs. After that, I just was stoned every day, and I was smoking heroin and menthol cigarettes, and pretty much the rest of my tour was like that. When she first moved in with me, I mean, I had more women's clothes, and I was doing a lot of hustling. We had sex, and she asked me to marry her, so we got married. And my son was born very shortly after that. I was an alcoholic, abused drugs. I had 3 suicide attempts. The last time I took a whole lot of pills, and my daughter found me. I was in a VA hospital for like 30 days, and everything was just gone. The group that I've been involved with, the Veterans Improvement Program, pretty much told me that they were going to throw me out of the group, that after several years I was still drinking and abusing medication, and that they totally were just fed up with it. My wife pretty much said the same thing, that she didn't want me back in the house. I had 30 days of sobriety, and that was the most I had since leaving Vietnam. I had a sponsor, and that was one of the keys. This guy was a trip. He worked at a post office too, and he was at the 101st Airborne unit that I was in Vietnam. I just couldn't pull anything on him, the Vietnam crap, or working for the post office. And he got me to a year of sobriety. At the end of the year, I did a 4-step inventory. He out and out asked me just the two basic questions. How, do you still feel like drinking, and do you still feel suicidal? And when I said yes to both questions, obviously the third question is, what would it take, for you to stay sober and not want to kill yourself? And this is the first person that I came out and said that, if I could live as a woman and dress the way I want. And this guy just said, well, why don't you? If your other option is you're going to drink yourself to death, or you're going to kill yourself. And I think his exact words were, go buy a dress.
Dear Dad, happy, so politically correct holiday season. Keep on keeping on. Signed with love. Binky, Bunky, Binkus. Jeanette Carney. Binky the Kid. Benny the Kid, pardon. It's so many years that was her nickname. She's to our Benny in representation of your offspring. Peace. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
For my Jeanette.
Do you know, at least one level, that I was a cross-dresser? Do you know that I, wore my wife's clothes, and that I like slipping in nightgowns? Every Halloween he knew what I was going to be. It was just hard on all of them. It was a shock level when I went to the point of living full-time. Around this time is when I started writing, too. And a lot of stuff in my book, the journal, and those poems, were dealing with all these emotions and struggling with my children, my brothers and sisters, and my mother, why they all wanted to see John back and weren't happy with what I was doing. Yet my worst nightmare was going back and being that angry, miserable drunk. My second year of sobriety, I moved back up to southern New Hampshire to be closer to him. But these two didn't want me around him. And I would be in malls, and he would get real nervous if they saw any of their school friends. My son was petrified that this could be something that may be hereditary, that it could happen to him. I talked to all of them a couple weeks before my surgery in the Ridge League. I really gave them a lot of power. Pretty much all said, if it'll make you feel better and that's how you want to live your life, you should do it. And after my surgery, a year, they slowly came around to where they are today. It takes time. I always emphasize, no matter what, I am still their father. And I try real hard to emphasize that how I identify is going to do with the fact.
The first doctor that I saw for my hormone imbalance said some testosterone would bring back my sex drive, bring back my male aggression. No testosterone for me. The second doctor that I saw for my hormone imbalance asked if I would like to try some estrogen. Estrogen hormone treatment, she said, would balance me out. Might give me a sense of calmness. Yes. I would love to try some estrogen.
I consider myself a transgenderist, which is a term even some transgender people don't really agree on. If anybody asks me, I never deny that I'm a transgender person. Pretty much feel that I have this opportunity to educate as many people as I can. The thing about my voice, I mean, I purposely, this is the voice I've always used. And I've lost count of how many people that have told me, well, if you just work on your voice, then you can pass. And I know I can do it. I've done it. I worked with specialists. But I don't want to. My kids like it when they can recognize me on the phone. You know, I've even at times felt that if our culture was in a situation where when I was 18, 19, or 20, just said, hey, I prefer dresses, I prefer doing this, I prefer long hair, and I had no problem going into a woman's room because that's where it was more comfortable. You know, I had no problem if I applied for a job or going to school or at any level, just said, no, my name's not John anymore, it's Janice. I identify as female. And just lived, you know, basically as a woman with a penis, and our society could accept that. I may have gone that route. It's the fear of being beaten up, the fear of you getting arrested every time you want to go to a woman's room, and all these fears that our culture throws on us because you can't be in the middle. I served in Vietnam from July of 70 to July of 71. I believe that my experiences in Vietnam left me with a moral obligation to speak out against going down that path again. Every Vietnam veteran's worst nightmare is to see this happening a second time. I belong to a group called Veterans for Peace, whose main agenda obviously is standing up for peace and stopping war. There's 20 to 30 members. I'm the only one in the group that's ever saw combat. I'm the only disabled veteran. And I've been one of the most active in handing out pamphlets at the schools and going to rallies. We were scheduled to be on a local talk show. A couple of days before the show, they switched somebody else to go on instead of me. Members of the group just feel uncomfortable with having me represent them because of my being transgender. To me, there's no difference if they had said, we don't want an African person or we don't want a Latino. To me, it's all the same. It's just a layer of discrimination.
I got my
Junior Mensa!
I think I have no more regrets than any woman my age. Regrets I have in my life are decisions. I don't think I made any wrong decisions in my life as far as deciding to live my gender and doing everything I could to live as a woman.
Oh, look at you. Oh my God.
Going to the theater and taking the Junior Mensa with me.